The comparison between Prince Andrew and Lord Mandelson may seem sensational, but it is unavoidable. Both men had personal relationships with Jeffrey Epstein. Both were caught in compromising correspondence. Both have damaged the reputations of the institutions to which they belong. Yet their treatment has been markedly different. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has lost everything that tethered him to royal privilege. Peter Mandelson, though dismissed as ambassador, retains his peerage and his party membership. The question then is whether parity of accountability demands that he too should be stripped of his title. So beginning with the precedent, the removal of Andrew's royal titles was an act of sovereign discipline, not a legal process. It reflected the monarchy's need to preserve moral credibility, and the king's action following revelations that Andrew had shared sensitive information about Virginia Giuffre and misled the public about his friendship with Epstein was both constitutional and symbolic. A monarchy must be seen to police its own. The palace was ruthless precisely because it understood the danger of contagion. Once association with a convicted criminal enters the bloodstream of public trust, it corrodes everything it touches. Now to Mandelson, his emails to Epstein are grotesque. I think the world of you, he wrote, and urged the disgraced financier to fight for early release in 2008, a year after conviction. This was not casual acquaintance, it was emotional allegiance. And the defence that Mandelson was merely friendly collapses under the weight of those messages. His tone is not that of polite distance, but of personal advocacy for a man already exposed as a predator. Sir Keir Starmer, who appointed him ambassador to Washington, claims he was unaware of the depth of this relationship, and the Foreign Affairs Committee's inquiry suggests otherwise. Civil servants warned that Mandelson's association with Epstein posed reputational risks, yet the Prime Minister pressed ahead with a direct ministerial appointment, without interview, without scrutiny, without full vetting. This was arrogance disguised as pragmatism, and when the leaked emails surfaced, Starmer dismissed him within a day, but only after publicly declaring his full confidence. So, should Mandelson lose his peerage? Constitutionally, yes, it's possible. The Titles Deprivation Act of 1917, used to strip peers who sided with Germany during the First World War, established a precedent. In practice, however, modern removals are rare. A peerage is not employment, it's a crown honour. Revocation would require new legislation or a formal petition to the Crown on grounds of scandal or disrepute. Yet moral consistency would argue that the Labour leadership should not hide behind technicalities. If the monarchy can act decisively to protect its integrity, the political class must do the same. Chris Bryant's defence that just having known someone is not the issue misses the point. It was not the act of knowing Epstein, but the act of defending him that renders Mandelson's position untenable. There's a distinction between contact and complicity. To call Epstein best pal and encourage his early release after conviction is to normalise the indefensible. The political system cannot condemn Andrew for misplaced loyalty while excusing Mandelson for something potentially worse. Furthermore, Mandelson's case exposes a wider malaise in British public life, the persistence of a caste immune to consequence. When royal figures are punished, it's a theatre for the masses. When politicians are disgraced, it's an administrative inconvenience. The House of Lords, stuffed with party donors, failed ministers, private lobbyists, represents a moral vacuum that this scandal seems to illuminate. Mandelson remains technically a peer, albeit on leave of absence, but what credibility can such a chamber claim when one of its members has expressed love for a convicted sex offender? There's also the question of equivalence. Andrew was born into privilege. Mandelson earned his through politics, but both positions depend on public respect. If either becomes a source of shame, the title itself becomes untenable. The king's decision to strip Andrew of his styles and lease was not vengeance, it was protection of the Crown's moral capital. Starmer must now protect the state's moral capital. Failing to act risks the perception that royal accountability exceeds political accountability. Mandelson's conduct, though not criminal, was ethically abhorrent and institutionally corrosive. He should voluntarily renounce his peerage. If he refuses, Parliament should consider establishing a formal mechanism for rescinding honours where reputational damage is proven. Until then, every defence of Mandelson is a defence of double standards. To paraphrase Burke, the greater the power, the stronger the duty to set an example. Not so far removed from Spider-Man, is it? Andrew has paid the price of disgrace. It is time Lord Mandelson did the same.